Hi everybody, we're back again for another chapter of reading. I hope everyone's excited because that last chapter was super good. I liked it a lot. But if you're joining us for the first time, I am T K Thompson and I have written an epic fantasy adventure series. These are all the books that you can read, and you should start with this one if you have not started my series, A New Recruit by T K Thompson. And sorry, this is number 2, this is number 3, and this is the book we're reading right now, the little novella. And the first time you see this character is in the Golden Catacombs, and he's super awesome, which is why I wanted to write his own story. And you also see him in the new book that just came out, the Animar Warrior, book 4 in the series. And then the Book of Leviticus goes along with this. It's another novella, awesome thriller with one of our favorite crew members. It's a pirate adventure series. You're gonna love it. Okay, we are on chapter 9, The Plan. So if you have not been following along, I have all the other chapters and videos, so go back, click on my face, you'll see it in my thread, in my feed. Okay, chapter 9, The Plan. Beldagar raced barefoot through the forest toward the festival. With the sun rising to high noon, it was only hours before Rose went up the mountain and a dragon awoke. Great strength from his new curse propelled his every step, but his mind flashed with the returning memories of his previous lives. He recalled the strange, deep divots in the dirt after his exerting running, and his ability to shut his thoughts off from anyone around him. He was the child of a sorceress, so some of her power had to live inside him. What if he possessed secret strength? He mulled over the thought and then flashed back to the current problem. If only I could reach Rose and warn her first, tell her I'll save her, and to watch for me, the new me. Or he could also divert the dragon from waking and fly up the mountain to end their traditions. He breathed fast as the plans flew through his head step by step. He bolted through the village and down one of the dirt walkways. Music filled his ears, growing his agitation even more. He caught a quick glimpse of the festival banners and dancing as he passed the last few houses. Around the corner, the festival burst in full glory. The entire area teemed with ribbons and banners. Canvas tents and booths sold baked goods and pottery. The stocked pens had sheep, goats, and pigs. At the center, all the women danced in white chitons, holding hands in a circle. They all wore ivy crowns, and the crowd cheered around them. Children dodged in front of him, waving long ribbons on the ends of sticks. Beldagar stood still, watching the girls dance. They all had the same somber expression, and the only change was their differing features. There were 3 blondes, but Rose was the only one with curls. All the girls had long hair down their backs. Their white pleated dresses and soft features made them look angelic. If he had not known their fate, he would have cheered and celebrated with the rest of the village. He had always thought that his first time at the event would be the biggest highlight of his life. Now it was tainted with the truth. He watched as Rose danced with the other girls, despondent and aware of her fate. A glimmer of bittersweet happiness swept over him. She would live. Around him, villagers looked on the heavenly beings. The men's stares were ravenous and bloodthirsty. Beldagar caught Thard's eyes. The brooding foreman glared at him with deep hostility. He didn't understand the hate the people of the village had for him. As the commotion spun around him, a searing pain shot through his head again. He clasped both hands to the side of his head. Voices twisted like a whirlwind inside his mind. The villagers' eyes turned a glowing emerald green. their faces deformed and mutated. He shook his head, trying to dispel the distortions, but he couldn't. It was all her. His mother had devastated every second of his life. Why did she hate him? What did he do to deserve so much retaliation? He caught sight of Rose. A white light glowed around her, illuminating her porcelain skin. She looked up, and a sweet hope beamed from her face. His heart cracked in two. She squinted with worry as she beheld his expression, which he shook off instantly. He indiscreetly motioned for her to come. Sorry. She lightly nodded and continued to dance. With a few blinks, everything turned back to normal. Beldagar glanced back to Thard. The foreman continued his intimidating stare, and Beldagar glared right back. Thard turned his attention to Rose. The intentions behind his wicked smile made Beldagar almost burst forward to rip him to shreds. The beast was growing inside, almost bursting forth to rip him to shreds. Wait, I totally read that wrong. The intentions behind his wicked smile made Beldagar almost burst forward to rip him to shreds. The beast was growing inside, pushing against the seams of his skin to come out. Thard sneered a cruel smile. Beldagar took a deep breath. He couldn't change here, and now. He had to explain the plan to Rose first, but he couldn't wait for the look on Thard's face. When he stood head-to-head with him, transformed. Beldagar stepped backward, slowly retreating, ever watchful of Thard's frozen threat. Soon the crowd encroached around him, providing a shield to sneak away. He drifted over to their tree and hoped that Rose would remember the last meeting. What if she didn't think to come to the spot? What if she just went in the direction he had nodded? He anxiously paced the area for 15 minutes until he couldn't stand it anymore. He took a rushed step around the tree and ran straight into Rose, knocking her backward. She yelped in surprise. He grabbed her shoulders and steadied her from the blow. He felt foolish for his panic. "Are you all right?" "Yes." She brushed her arms, wiping away the pain, and then caught his hands. He wanted to shy away from her affection, undeserving, but warmth surged through him, igniting his soul. It was the only comfort he was afraid of never feeling again. "What happened?" She ducked to see his face. He looked up pitifully. Her expression widened. She gasped. "You killed them?" "No," he blurted. Relief sparkled in her eyes. She put a hand on his chest. "It's all right. I'm glad you couldn't do it. It would have made you a monster." The words echoed inside his mind. No, he thought. I still became a monster. "Rose, I'm still going to save you." Her hopeless expression made him want to crumble. He didn't want to tell her the whole truth. The sorceress was not who she said she was. Rose jutted out her chin. "She lied," he said. "I agreed to the deal, and she made me..." He stopped, remembering Versailles' explicit instructions. His supposed mother had chosen precise wording, so he was not coerced or forced to do anything. "I chose," he continued, ashamed that he was the only one to blame, to do it. A damning feeling flooded him. It gave me great strength. And I went and found that family, but they were nothing like what she said they were. I tried to go through with it, and I hurt one of them badly, but I couldn't kill." She swallowed hard and blew out her breath. "But," he said, stopping her from gaining too much hope, "I cursed myself. Taking her deal was what she wanted the entire time, and I've played into her hands." Rose pulled him down to the ground next to her. "She's letting me save you. In return, I've promised to go with her, to not resist." With worry lines on her forehead, she asked, "Who is she?" Beldagar's burden finally collided with reality. Tears stung his eyes, but he would not let them fall. "She's my mother." Her eyes widened. No, she shook her head, visibly upset. They'll take you. There's so much he could tell her, but he skipped right to the end. They'll take you up the mountain soon. Stay with them for now. Apprehension crawled up her face. Trust me, he squeezed her hand, praying that she would find faith in him. I'm going to try to prevent that dragon from waking up. She instantly protested. No, you will die. The truth sat on his lips, begging to be loosed. The curse has turned me into a powerful demon. Rose flinched. Please, he begged her. It's the truth. I won't die. When I come for you, don't be afraid of me. She had to believe him. She had to trust him, or he might not be able to save her. The mere thought of that outcome devastated him. Rose's eyes flickered with so many questions, but he couldn't handle answering them. He stood, pulling her up. Don't be afraid. She nodded, even though she had no clue what to expect. Beldagar turned and dropped her hand. An instant disconnect waved over him. He had no idea what he was doing. Spinning back around, he wrapped one arm around her slim waist and lifted her until their lips touched. The simple contact connected his mind to hers. A lightning sensation struck down from the top of his head to the tips of his toes and fingers. He let go and bolted. With each step, his heart broke and his desperation grew. A cold sensation crept up, chilling all the warmth out of him. His bare feet raced towards the mind as sharp pains pulsated in his head. For a brief second, he thought he heard Rose scream out, but he kept going. He had to make it to the quarry before the miners disturbed the heart of the dragon. Flashes of light and memory coursed through him, his mind awakening. The forest blurred and so many different places shot around him, desert sands, ocean seasides, and rocky mountains with familiar people filling in the gaps of his memories. He shook his head, clearing them away. No previous life meant more than this one. He focused on the looming opening of the gold mine. The pain in his head continued as he finally hit the rocks, which crumbled under his feet. End of the chapter. Okay, so that was chapter 9. And we see the events that are starting to unfold. It's going to be exciting. The next one is labeled chapter 10, The Monster in the Mountain. So we're going to get to see some amazing monsters here soon. A dragon. Because of course the dragon has to wake up. There has to be a dragon. Anyway, so tomorrow, I know it's Thanksgiving, but I'm still going to try to read to you all. I hope that you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving with whoever you are celebrating with, family, friends. And I'm so thankful for my family and that we're able to spend it together. And we're making a video about cooking our turkey because we had some issues. Oh, anyway, we cooked a turkey during Easter and we have no idea how we made it taste so good. So we're trying to recreate it. Anyway, I don't know if we'll succeed, but thank you guys for listening. It really means a lot to me. And I think I'm going to make Dustin do like a, what is it? Like a when all the mistakes put together, bloopers or whatever, because I made mistakes. It happens. Anyway, happy Thanksgiving, you guys. Wishing you all the best. Bye.